Jeff with Precision Replacement Parts. I'm here with Greg today. We're going to be working on this 1964 Ford pickup. Greg, what are we doing?
We're going to be changing our DWP 2110-61. It's the door seals. Fits a 1961 to 66 Ford F-Series truck.
Let's get started.
Here's the tools you'll need.
We're going to go ahead and do the driver's side door for this video. We highly recommend that you do one side at a time, keeping the other side original as a point of reference. These weather strips are glued on. Greg, what's the best way to get these off?
We're going to use our Weatherstrip installation tool. We're going to use the chisel end. Now this is made of nylon, so we're going to, with the chisel end, cut the two surfaces that are glued down to the door.
You'll notice our door weather strip is still really supple. Yours may be dried out and very brittle and come off in chunks, but you'll need to make sure you remove all of it.
And we'll just move along the perimeter of the door.
We're going to continue taking the door weather strip off the door. When you get down to this point, you're going to end up with two metal clips. Greg, how do we deal with those?
We're going to continue removing the weather strip past those. I'm going to take a needle nose and I'm going to straighten them out about 90 degrees to the door shell.
And you're going to find 4 more clips just like this on the leading edge of the door that you'll need to deal with in the same fashion. The next area we need to focus on is the bottom edge of the door. There's 11 push pins that we need to address. Greg, what's the best way to get these out?
This area is still glued in to place also. So once we get to that pin, get the clip removal tool and just pry down. Now there is a plastic insert, and we'll come back to that and remove it with the needle nose. With these inserts, squeezing together the edges of the plastic, removing them. This one also. And now we'll continue along the bottom edge. Okay, we're to the leading edge of the door here. Those 4 clips that Jeff mentioned earlier. Again, we're just going to keep working that weather strip off the body. We have limited accessibility, so we're just going to pull the weather strip out of place.
Before we install the new weather stripping, we're going to make sure we clean off all the glue and residue on the door. We're going to do that by using a weather strip installation tool and using the chisel end like Greg is doing right now. And we'll probably use some general adhesive remover as well. We're going to go ahead and use 3M weather strip adhesive. And we're going to put some on the door, and we're going to put some on the weather stripping, and we're going to use a brush like this to get good coverage. We're going to wait a little bit for it to tack up, and then we're going to go ahead and apply the weather strip to the door. We're going to go ahead and install the weather strip. Important to note that the seam of the weather strip will go on the front edge of the door. We're going to start along the bottom with the push pin area. Greg, why are we doing that?
With the push pins, it'll give us an exact location of the 2 molded sections that are in this weather strip.
We're proceeding up the door into the first area that's going to have a molded section to it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the adhesive to the door and use the brush to work it in, and I'm going to apply it to the actual weather stripping. Now you've also noticed they have pre-applied tape to the door, and that'll help us when we tape it on.
We're getting the weather strip on the back side, those tabs that we bent out. Now we'll come back and address these tabs when we're all finished gluing the weather strip to the door.
And we'll continue this process along the rest of the door.
All right, we don't have a lot of accessibility again to the front leading edge, so we've applied a generous amount to the weather strip. What we're going to do is carefully feed it behind the hinge. Now this is the last form portion of this weather strip. So we want to just follow the contours. Jeff's going to tape it in place. Okay, we're to the end right here. Yep. Go ahead and tape that in place. Now we'll finish up the front end of this, bringing the lower section up. All right, we're at the last section of the weather strip that needs to be attached to the door. We're going to need to do a measurement. So I'm going to put it in the place it needs to go. Jeff's on the outside. He's going to hold the end. I'm going to take a marker, mark it about 1/4 inch longer than needed.
And we specifically make our door seals a little bit too long to account for any variation, so cutting it is going to be required.
Now we'll test fit it to make sure. Now we'll apply the glue, set it in place. Again, because we don't have a lot of room between the door and the body in this area, we placed a generous amount onto the weather strip. We'll go ahead and set it in place. Jeff is on the outside. He will be applying the tape. Go ahead and set, make sure it's behind those tabs. Okay, you can bring this one in.
The last thing you'll need to do is bend over the tabs that we bent back in the beginning. We're going to show you on the outside edge of the door here. Greg, how are we going to do this?
Jeff's going to take the weather strip installation tool, the chisel end, and right in that groove of the weather strip, he's going to push it down. I'm going to take a hammer and a punch. Just bend it over to retain the seal.
And then we're going to repeat that process for all the 5 other clips.
there.
The last thing you'll need to do is make sure your door closes properly.
You may encounter some resistance initially. It will take a little while for the new Weatherstrip to set in.